Hello, freak bitches.
To Twitter. But,
are you?
Oh, I love Twitter. I love it. And I know that I'm a giant bitch on there, and I don't
are
care.
You?
I am.
How are you a bitch?
I'm always telling people to go fuck themselves. Always.
Why are you doing that?
Because it's so enjoyable to me. It's like playing a game. And I you know, the part of me is like, I hate that part of myself, but I also really like it because I think I'm becoming, to me, it's not, I'm not a brand. There's no Julie Kedzie fighter who has to impress anybody anymore. Like, you know, granted, I represent Invicta to a certain extent, but I know, I fully understand that Shannon could fire me if I say something just outrageous and horrible. She wouldn't. She's a wonderful person. And I'm no longer behind the scenes there. I'm a commentator. I'm not somebody making any decisions with the company.
Right.
But I don't know. When it comes to Twitter,
So what do? You get in flame wars with people? Like someone says some stupid shit to you and you fight back?
I kind of enjoy when people insult me and I go after them. Yeah, but I do feel my brain deteriorating a little bit when they do that. You know, it's just like, I mean, I know it's just like, okay, I need to stop. I need to put this down now. But, you know, when they come at me, they're just like, you're a feminazi, you're this, you're that. I'm just like, yeah,
Who
come
says
on.
that?
Oh,
Why do they say you're a feminazi?
Oh, because I'm very outspoken being a feminist. I'm very, you know, when I talk about socialism, when I talk about I hate Donald Trump, when I talk about this, you know. And
yeah, but I would never label you in, like, you're just a genuine person, like, who happens to be a woman who believes what you believe. Like, you're not, like, sexist. Well, you're not, like, anti-male or anything.
I know I love men. I love men.
I believe you. Settle down.
But the thing is, I am pro-woman. To a certain extent, I mean, when it comes to MMA, I'm more interested in what's going on with women in the sport than with men. That's just where I'm oriented. That's
sure.
That's
that's part of your job.
And but well, I don't know. There's this association that, first of all, the whole feminazi label is just. I mean, that's the first thing. Like I said, yeah, I'm really proud to be a feminist, and then people are just like, oh, that means you hate men. You think they're all rapists, and I'm like, no,
silly.
That discredits men so much. Like, why? No.
Well, it's silly, and the term feminist has been so co-opted by negative thoughts. So many people have this negative connotation they attach to it.
Of course, and it's movements that, you know, third wave feminism. This, you know, there's certain whenever
the
people,
real fucking problem, male feminists. They've ruined it. Those fucking twats.
You know,
men ruin everything.
No,
they've even ruined feminism.
No. That's funny. I know. Jamie was on here, and he was a friend of mine, and something weird happened with that guy. I don't know what's going on with his life right now, but
Jamie Kilstein?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, not good.
I don't know what's going on, and I don't want to, like, speculate on any of that, but we were really good friends for a while, and, you know, I know his, like, he was very disliked as a male feminist, quote-unquote male feminist. And that's,
well, it's because everybody thought that he was what he just got accused of being.
Right.
That they're just poon hounds that are taking that angle.
That is an interesting I honestly think sometimes people are just assholes who want sex. And I also think sometimes people are manipulative assholes who want sex. I don't see him as a manipulative person. But again,
you didn't have anything to offer him.
Yeah,
or, you know,
probably
who knows?
not. I
you weren't
didn't
in that
interact.
situation.
Yeah. But
I don't know either. You know, I think people are a bunch of different things depending on who they are at what time of the day. I think it'd be nice if the whole world was egalitarian, and if we all looked at people as just treating them who they are based on their character and their personality, and not categorizing them so specifically, like, oh, you are a woman, so you are less, or you are a man and you are more, or vice versa.
When you say male feminist, and you're like, that's the problem. I mean, are you joking when you say that? Or because
yes.
okay,
yes,
good.
I'm joking. Yes,
because I'm like,
I mean, it's the problem is there's a lot of people that virtue signal, and a lot of people that are posturing, and a lot of people that are putting a label on themselves to try to make themselves seem like they're in a higher moral high ground than the rest of the folks around them, and that's the motivation for doing it. And that becomes transparent, and people get angry at that. They recognize what it is. So when someone like Jamie Kilstein slips up after all these years of virtue signaling, they're like, I knew it, you fuck.
But does that really negate some of the good things that he's done if he's influenced
like
some
what?
Men? I don't know. The virtue, I guess.
What are the good things?
I don't know. If he's maybe said, oh, hey, a woman is actually a person.
Yeah, absolutely. Who the fuck doesn't think a woman is a person?
Well, a lot of the people on my Twitter timeline.
Let me tell you something. Those people, if there's a person out there that doesn't think that a woman's a person, fucking Jamie Kilstein is not going to change their opinion. He's just gonna broadcast it and let everybody know that's how he thinks. And he's gonna get all this love, and people are gonna send him all these likes, and they're gonna give him thumbs up and say nice things to him on Twitter. And that may or may not be a good thing. It's more a good thing than a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But you're not going to change some asshole's opinion by saying something like that.
I don't know that you are, but I don't know. Have you changed any asshole's opinion with any of your things? That if you've come out and said something, have you Do you think you've changed people's opinions?
I think
you've
people's
espoused things?
opinions change if they value what you're saying, if they believe that you're being truthful, and if what you're saying is compelling enough for them to reconsider the way they look at things. It is possible, but it's not 100%, and it's not the motivation behind doing things in the first place. I don't ever try to change people's opinions, but I do try to express myself as cleanly and as accurately and as honestly as I can. And I think that, in my opinion, in my experience, when I've heard people like you talking about your life, like you just talking about your life in this podcast, I take that in and I know it's pure, and it'll make me consider everything that a person says, every sentence, every conversation that you have with someone where they're being real with you. It adds more knowledge to your database of human interaction and the way people behave and think.
Now,
and I think in that way, it does slowly make you consider more things about people, and that adds to the overall surface area of knowledge that you have about people in general.
Absolutely. Do you, in your position, because you have considerable influence, do you worry about having people kind of latch on things hive-minded and go a direction? Do you feel a responsibility, I guess, to people?
I definitely feel a responsibility in not manipulating them. And I definitely feel a responsibility in not taking advantage of that, not starting a cult or something like that. Yeah, I mean, but it's the good part about it is if you don't need anything from anybody, like you're not trying to get people to send you $50 a month for the fucking, platinum plan where you get access to secret messages from L. Ron Hubbard or whatever. But you know what I mean? It's like you can take advantage of people in certain ways. And I think that's a real issue with any sort of hive mind thinking, right?
And I don't know where I get this is fascinating. I guess religion and things like that always trouble me. And that hive-minded mentality, that troubles me. It troubles me.
Yeah, it should.
I mean, to be honest, it troubles me that Alex Jones was on here, or somebody who kind of leads that sort of thing.
Yes, but when Alex Jones was on here, I think people got to understand Alex Jones way more after me getting him drunk and stoned and have him talk about interdimensional child molesters. Like, you get to see a like, oh, this is kind of like a half wacky show where he's also commenting on the craziness of the world, but you got to see who he really is. The guy that I've known for almost 20 years. Like, that's what I wanted to do by having him on. Like, people are like, why are you friends with that guy? I'm like, watch what happens. We'll get him fucked up. We're going to have some fun. And you realize, like, oh, this guy's like, he's kind of wacky. Like, half of what he's doing is almost like a show.
It's a show, right? It's a brand, right?
Well, it's like, it isn't. That's kind of him.
But if people are buying into that.
But what are they buying into that's false, and what are they buying into that's true? Unfortunately, a lot of what Alex Jones has been presenting over these years is actually true.
Like what?
Like agent provocateurs, like when they have peaceful protests, they'll send in people to smash windows, and they're wearing government-issue boots, and they get rounded up, and they don't wind up being prosecuted because they were literally brought in by the police to turn a peaceful protest into a violent protest. Like the people that took over Occupy Wall Street and undercover cops that were doing all this fucking crazy, chaotic, violent shit to get people to move in and break up these camps and break up these protests when they were all legal. Alex Jones sort of exposed all that stuff first.
When he puts his support, and I actually don't want to be in this, I'm not trying to be controversial, honestly. I'm just like following conversation.
Express yourself.
But when he puts his support behind people like Donald Trump, who is actually pushing these sorts of agendas.
What sorts of agendas?
Like the anti-protesting, like trying to change the laws so that you can run over protesters when they're peacefully protesting.
Is he changing the laws?
I don't know. He's changing the laws, but these things are coming up.
You can run over a protest? What is that?
It's something, it's Wisconsin or Michigan. There's something like that. They're trying to put a thing
one of them farm states.
Whatever it is. Yeah, I know. And I'm so bad because when I follow my train of thought, then I can never have citations, and it drives me bananas because I don't want to present information as speculation.
Well,
right?
I think the people are trying to stop people from violating other people's rights.
Right. But is a person's right to drive a car down a street more important than a person's right to express themselves by saying, I don't want this to happen. I am willfully challenging the law right here in a peaceful way.
But it's not peaceful if your grandpa is dying and they need to get to the hospital and some asshole wants to stand in front of him with a macrame hat on with a, I'm a male feminist sign.
Right. But what instance are you quoting specifically?
Well, we're talking about blocking people on the road. Right. It doesn't help anyone.
No, it doesn't help anyone. I mean, I've been arrested for political protests before, and I was very aware I was crossing a line onto here. I was doing something. I was going to be arrested for it, but it was the voices behind me and the collective voices together that were doing something not knowing that they were going to be arrested, knowing that the part about going to jail and being able to write about it, or being able to understand that you were taking a stance on something, you're just trying to bring attention to something that you think is wrong.
Well, what were you arrested for?
Oh, it was many years ago, and all the military guys already hate me, but it was the School of the Americas. I was 18. I think I got arrested twice, 18 or 19. It was the School of the Americas when they were teaching the counterinsurgency techniques down in Fort Benning, Georgia. I'm banned for life there. But I was very religious then. I was very into social justice. I was really like, I wanted to be a nun, and I wanted to change the world, and I wanted people to not kill each other anymore. And I wanted us not to fund military groups in South America who were slaughtering people. At the same time, it was protesting. I was stepping deliberately onto a military base and saying, no, I don't want this to happen anymore. I'm peacefully going to go with you. You're arresting me. I know my rights. And the soldiers...
Okay, well, let's unpack that, because what you did there was you made there's a political protest. You went to the scene of where you think these terrible things are taking place, and you took a stand knowing that you were going to get arrested and that it was going to bring media attention to this. There's a big difference between that and you deciding we're going to block the 101 because Black Lives Matter. You know, that doesn't have anything to do with all those people that were driving to work. You're violating their rights to pass. You're violating their space. You're stopping them from being able to move freely.
You're also calling a great deal of attention to it,
but you're doing it in a way that inconveniences and puts people in danger, and it's not necessary. You could do it in a public space. You could do it in places where you're allowed to protest. You can do it, and you could still get your voice out and still get your message out and not block traffic on the highway. The blocking traffic on the highway is attention whoring, and it's attention whoring in a very dangerous way, because you are stopping people from getting to medication. You're stopping people from getting medical treatment. People can be in the middle of giving birth. There's a lot of shit that happens where you fuck with people's ability to travel and move around. We rely on that. It's extremely significant. So when you just decide that, you know, I want transgender rights for the bathroom, let's block this fucking highway. Just because you think you can get attention doing something like that doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. There are ways to get attention doing things that are lawful, and there's ways that are noble, and then there's blocking the fucking highway like a baby.
Are they still working, though? I'm not just talking about a highway. But
are they working?
Are bringing attention to things, I mean, is that still working? The Dakota pipeline and stuff like that, when people were protesting in a peaceful way?
Well, it certainly did. It shut it down.
It shut it down, but it just...
Trump got
it's
in
back.
office and things change.
It's back, and I don't even know if that's the best example of it.
Well, it is a good example because it was peaceful protesting, and it did get a lot of attention, including me and a lot of other people who tweeted about it and put up links about it and let people know about it and talked about it on the podcast. Yeah, I mean, it does get attention.
But when the power, I guess when the power, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not disregarding.
They're protesting there.
Yeah,
at the
I'm
scene.
not disregarding what you're saying about the highways and the stuff like that, because that wouldn't be the kind of protest that I would want to be a part of. That's not the kind of thing I would want to enact. Now, do I believe in the Black Lives Matter movement? Yes, to a certain extent. I also believe in police officer training and better training for police officers in situations of high stress. I think that there's so much nuance to what's going on there, and there's so much carried on.
Yeah.
And the highway blocking and the stuff like that, you're giving very, very good counter arguments to this. But I will say that there's also something, in effect, when you can make the loudest noise and you know something is wrong, isn't it your responsibility to try and fix things?
Not by stopping the highway.
Maybe not. Maybe not.Maybe it's not by stopping the highway, but if people are so determined to be against what you're saying, they're so rooted. People have to make noise in the strangest ways. They have to do
also,
what
people are very self-righteous, and they think that you have to listen to them, and you don't want to listen to them.
No, you don't want to listen.
It's your right as an American to not have to listen to someone's protest as much as it's your right as an American to protest.
It is.
You can't force someone to listen to you because you think you're right. And that's what you're doing by standing in front of someone on the highway and blocking their passage.
Okay, but getting beyond the highway thing, because again, what you're bringing up...
That's the only thing that I have an issue with.
Oh, okay.
Literally, I have no problem with protesting, I think, but when you're protesting on the highway and you're blocking traffic, you're a cunt.
Well,
I mean, that's a shitty way to do it.
I cannot disagree with you to a certain extent, where it is a very inconvenient thing and it can be a dangerous thing, and I don't think any protesting should endanger people's lives at all.
By the way, I hate marathons too for the same reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
But at least those are scheduled.
I don't think that that's cause to be able to have the right to to run somebody over and kill
No,
them.
no, you shouldn't have the right to run
don't
someone
think
over and kill
somebody's
them.
life
But-
is not worth something because they're expressing themselves in a way that you disagree with.
No, but that's not necessarily what the law is saying.
No.
The law is saying that you exonerate someone of responsibility if someone jumps in front of your car and tries to stop you.
And that makes
We've seen
a
people
great deal of
assault
sense.
people, smash their car windows because they're trying to get through some sort of a protest line, and they don't have anything to do with what the
Right.
protest is. They just want to get out of there. They're in their car and they're stuck, and maybe they have their kid with them, and the kid's crying and freaking out, and they hit the gas.
This is incredibly detailed. This is an incredibly detailed example of something that I don't actually have the reference point to. I don't have a citation for this, so I can't argue with you on any of the story that you're giving me because I have no way of knowing this incident. But I do think that your speculation is correct in the sense that I think that, no, that would be horrible. That would be horrible to have people saying, okay, this means more to me than you're getting your sick kid to the hospital. I think absolutely. I think that no. I don't think that anybody's life is worth more than another person's life.
Well, it's also there's something going on where there's a lot of misdirected rage and anger. Like my
People
friend
are
was
very angry.
My friend was at one of these things where he was trying to get his car through, and they were all blocked and stopped, and people had crossed hands, locked hands, and blocked the highway. And some guy came up to his window and is screaming, "Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!" Screaming at his window. He's like, "Yeah, I agree, man. Okay, I agree, but I'm stuck in traffic. Why are you yelling at me? I'm not doing anything."
I think we're very angry right now.
He's
There's
like
a
this
lot going
white
on.
guy yelling at him, another white guy, and he's screaming Black Lives Matter at him. It's like, okay, this is so misdirected. If my friend is a Democrat, he votes liberal, he's so liberal, like down the board with pretty much everything. And someone's screaming at him. It's screaming at him like he has done something wrong because this person is misguided and misdirected rage. And they're a part of this whole mob mentality. Everyone's together. They're all chanting and yelling, and everyone's getting excited. And they think that they're doing the right thing. And these kids today, a lot of them that are involved in these protests, they're so enamored by this idea that they're doing the right thing and they're enacting change. They don't realize that they're also polarizing the opposition. And this is one of the reasons why Donald Trump was elected in the first place. Because so many people are so tired of people shoving in their face their righteous indignation, shoving in their face this locking hands and blocking the highway, and you have to listen to us. That is energy, and it goes like this, and then when it goes like that, people go like that. It's in and out. There's a cycle.
And can you understand where the rage is built up if people felt like they've been ignored and they've been pushed back so hard that they actually start exploding like that and they get into these hives because they have no other group to belong to?
There's definitely a way that you could see that. There's
And
definitely a way that makes sense.
I guess what is the appropriate way to do things then? What is the way to do
to
things?
continue to write, to continue to talk, to continue to express yourself in a way that's going to make other people consider what you're saying and maybe change people's minds and thoughts. And it's not an instantaneous thing.
That's the
It's
problem.
not like you put up a sign and everything's fixed. No,
And
it's going to take time.
we are a society that
Right, but I
we
think that's
want
part of the rage of people screaming is they want it to change now. And by going up to my friend's window and yelling Black Lives Matter, this fuckhead thinks he's going to change it, but he doesn't even really think that. He thinks he's got the right to do it. You got to fucking listen to me, man. There's this thing going on where people get these mob mindsets where they think they're allowed to hit a girl because she's got a red hat on that says "Make Bitcoin Great Again." Have you seen that video? That poor girl got maced in the face.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah,
Shit,
no.
it was a Joe Cat. They maced her in the fucking face.
I get that. I get what you're saying, and
Right?
I am on board with the sentiment of what you're saying. I really do understand it, but I also think there's such a finger pointing going on, and I'm guilty of it on my Twitter because I go after these fuckheads all the time. They call me you feminazi, and I say no, fuck Donald Trump. Seriously, that person is not qualified to be president. Well, Hillary's bad too. It's like that's not. I didn't say anything about Hillary.
Right.
I said this person in office
Yes.
is not qualified. He should step down. But
I don't think he really
get
wanted to
that.
be president.
No, I don't think he wanted to be president at all.
I think the whole thing just got way out of hand.
Yeah, no, I think he's terrified. He is a scared, terrified little man up
Well,
there.
maybe he's not terrified. Maybe he's crazy, but I don't think he wanted to do this. I think this
No.
just sort of happened.
Yeah, I think he didn't think it through, and I think that's when we're talking about not thinking it through. I think the guy screaming at your friend in the window, he's not thinking it through. He's caught
Right.
onto something. He's caught up in a
Well,
wave
he thinks
of something.
he can do it. There's a million other people behind him. Everyone's screaming. He's looking at my friend. My friend's vulnerable. My friend's below him because he's seated, and he's just screaming, "Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!" It's like, okay.
Yeah, and
But it's that bullshit
but it's also that
Twitter
bullshit.
generation
Yeah.
protesting.
But it's also we have learned it's so hard to just generalize and say everything is because of this and everything is because of that, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
it
so
is.
everything has to come from an individual place. And at the same time, we're all trying to belong to communities. We're all trying to belong to something we believe in.
Right.
And we're latching onto that. And then I think that the sins that happen, that happen along the way, the missteps that happen along the way, we tend to forgive them instead of pointing out, no, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't affect somebody who's driving their child to work or something like that. That's not what should happen. But we do tend to forgive the people who are in the same team as us, don't we?
Of course.
And that's where the Make America Great fuckers, they do all that. They can't see their team lose. And they'll defend him now to the death. They'll defend his decisions. He does something wrong. Well, you don't understand how it works, Julie. No, I do understand how it works. This person is not supposed to be in power. This person's not supposed to represent America. This is, and he is, and he's not who I want the world to see America as. I think we're a great country. And we fuck up a lot.
There's also a problem when having a popularity contest to decide who gets to run things. Imagine if they had a popularity contest to get to see who's the dean of Harvard.
Yeah.
Like, what's the curriculum going to be this year? The curriculum's going to be Jesus. Because I fucking won, pussies.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what's going to be happening right now. We're going to do away with, the public's, all the vouchers and the shit that's happening.
There's a lot of weird shit going on. That Jeff Sessions guy scares the shit out of me.
Oh, my God,
he wants
terrifying.
to bring back Just Say No.
Yeah.
He wants to bring back the 1980s Just Say No campaign.
What he just said on the marijuana has the same negative effects as heroin.
Yeah,
like, what?
It's slightly less bad than heroin.
What the hell, dude?
It's a child. It's an old child.
And it's...
Yeah, it's not good.
No, it's not good. And I because I get worked up thinking about it. I
but
think about these people in power,
what's good
and I
about
get
it
worked up.
is you get worked out, and people get worked up, rather, and they start talking about it, and they also realize that, hey, man, it really does matter if you vote. It really does matter if you're politically active.
Right.
It really does matter if you talk about these things and you care. But the team mentality that we have, the us versus them, it just gets so weird. It gets so fucking crazy. People get so out of control with it, and they, like you said, the people, the Make America Great Again people, they don't want to hear shit about the left.
No.
They don't want to hear shit about Bernie. They want to say Barack Obama's a Muslim and from fucking Kenya.
Yeah.
And they don't.
And I'm guilty of not wanting to know good things about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I don't want to know them. I don't care. I don't care because I see so much. It's just like there's so much that's working against human achievement with him being in power and the people he's appointing in power.
There is, but I think it gives people a goal. I think it gives people, I think without opposition, it's very difficult to get motivated. And I think there's a significant amount of opposition now. And I think they're organizing, people on the left are organizing in a way that they never have before. And hopefully, people will understand. There'll be someone along the line that understands that the polarization effect that happens between choosing these hardline teams, left and right, and not recognizing the possibility that there's so many people in the middle that just pick a side. They just decide to go left or decide to go right. And they could be on either side, but both of them are unreasonable. Both of them are unrealistic.
Yeah.
And Hillary Clinton was a terrible candidate. She was a terrible opposition candidate. Hopefully next time there'll be someone that's really good and will understand what is the problem with having a megalomaniacal egomaniac who's a fucking a business vulture run the country.
Which happened. I mean, that was the choice. This one or this one,